Imagine this: a wave of thick, boiling molasses, taller than a two-story building, barreling down the streets of Boston at 35 miles per hour. It smashes buildings. It swallows people. It even tosses freight cars like toys. No, this isn't a fever dream. It's a real disaster, and it happened in 1919. On a surprisingly warm January afternoon, a giant storage tank exploded, releasing more than 2 million gallons of sticky death across Boston's North End. The newspapers called it the Great Molasses Flood. And yes, it's as bizarre, tragic, and unforgettable as it sounds. Welcome to Weird History Vault, where we unlock the secrets time forgot. To understand how something this absurd could actually happen, we need to go back to the early 20th century. Boston's North End was a tight-knit immigrant neighborhood, crowded, gritty, full of life. Right in the middle of it stood a steel giant, a massive storage tank owned by the Purity Distilling Company. 50 feet high, 90 feet wide, and filled to the brim with molasses, used to make industrial alcohol for explosives during World War I. But here's the thing. This tank was a ticking time bomb. It groaned. It shuddered. It leaked so much that local kids used to collect molasses in cups straight off the seams. So what did the company do? Did they fix the leaks? Nope. They painted the tank brown to hide them. No inspections, no pressure tests, just sweet, slow negligence. Then came January 15th, 1919. The day started out normal, slightly warmer than usual for a Boston winter, about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, or 4 degrees Celsius. Around 12:30 p.m., the tank ruptured. It didn't crack, it exploded. Witnesses said it sounded like a machine gun or a thunderclap. The steel rivets blasted out like bullets. Then came the wave. 2.3 million gallons of molasses surged through the streets. A sticky brown tsunami, 25 feet high, moving faster than a car. It crushed buildings, tossed trucks, and swept people off their feet. In seconds, chaos reigned, and survival became a race against syrup. The damage was catastrophic. 21 people lost their lives. 150 were injured. Most died from suffocation or blunt force trauma, crushed, pinned, or drowned in the thick sludge. Horses struggled in vain, only to be swallowed whole by the sticky tide. Rescuers had to wade through waist-deep molasses. Some barely made it out. The cleanup was a nightmare. Firefighters hosed down the streets with salt water. But molasses coated everything: homes, sidewalks, telephone poles, even inside homes and subway stations. It got tracked on shoes and tires for miles. And here's the wildest part. Locals swore that for decades on hot summer days, the air still carried that faint, sickly sweet scent. When the shock wore off, the blame game began. The United States Industrial Alcohol Company, which owned Purity Distilling, blamed saboteurs. They said anarchists blew up the tank. After all, it was right after World War I, and tensions were high. But the investigation told a different story. Engineers discovered that the tank had been rushed into use before it was even tested. The steel was too thin. The seams were poorly riveted. And internal pressure from fermentation on that unusually warm day caused it to rupture like a balloon. A court case followed, a 5-year legal battle. Ultimately, the company was found liable and ordered to pay $628,000 in damages. That's over $10 million in today's money. It was one of the first times a U.S. corporation was held responsible for a mass casualty disaster. And it changed the way industrial safety was handled in America. You'd think this would be a staple in history books. But the Great Molasses Flood often flies under the radar. Maybe because it sounds too absurd to be real. Still, it left a mark. The disaster prompted new laws about construction safety, inspections, and corporate accountability. And for residents of Boston's North End, the memory didn't just fade, the smell lingered. So did the trauma. And the story, equal parts tragic and surreal, became one of the strangest chapters in American urban history. Today, there's a small plaque at the site, quietly honoring the victims of a flood that looked like dessert, but turned deadly. A disaster made of molasses. It sounds like fiction, but the Great Molasses Flood was all too real and all too preventable. It's a sticky reminder that sometimes the weirdest moments in history are the ones we should take most seriously. Thanks for diving into the syrupy shadows with Weird History Vault. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because history gets stranger the deeper you dig.